Welcome to the Gies Online Master of Science in Accountancy webinar for the iMSA program. My name is Kate Deering. I am an associate director within Gies Online program. So I work in the recruitment and admissions space. So excited to meet with you all today. Really, the scope of this session is to give you an overview of the University of Illinois, as well as the Gies College of Business, and then also obviously the Master of Science in Accountancy program. So we're going to really get into the details on the program. We're also very lucky to have one of our student ambassadors here today to be able to share his experience with you all and kind of give you that insight on the program. And we're gonna meet Kevin here in just a minute. I do want to point out or point your attention to the QR code that's on the screen right now. That is just a great way to get in touch with one of our admission counselors. It actually will have you fill out a short form and just give us a little bit of information, and then we can reach out and set up a either just communicate over email, a phone call, or maybe a Zoom meeting if you're interested. So go ahead and fill out that QR code if that sounds good to you. We will go ahead and put in the chat our link to the iMSA page. I think that's really helpful. You can kind of take a look as we're going, and if specific questions pop up, we do have the Q&A feature enabled, so you can go ahead and put your questions there. Typically, that's the best place to put those, so we can all kind of follow along. We also do have the chat enabled as well, if that makes it a little bit easier for you. So we're on our first poll. So I wanted to just take a moment to hopefully see where everyone's from today. But this is a poll everywhere poll. We use this type of technology in a lot of our live sessions. We use it in a recruitment. But if you go ahead and use the URL, which my colleague Grant, he actually is kind of in the background answering some questions and sharing some links with you all, but he'll go ahead and put that link, or you can just scan the QR code in the top right hand corner and pinpoint where you're from. Let us know where you're joining from, and we will share those responses as they come in. If you're not interested in the poll, just go ahead and put it in the chat and let us know where you're joining from. I'm actually in Champaign, Illinois, where the University of Illinois is located. I am joined by Grant. He is one of our admission counselors, and he's located in Champaign as well. And then Kevin Wong is with us today. So while you're all filling out that poll or kind of getting yourselves settled, I'm going to have Kevin introduce himself. He's one of our iMSA student ambassadors.
Hi guys, I'm Kevin. I'm from here, Illinois. I was born in Waukegan. Went to undergraduate at Colgate University, and after that, I did some tutoring for a couple of years now. I'm still tutoring SAT and ACT as I am working through my Master's of Accountancy. So I really wanted to join this program in order to kind of get my foot in the door and some experience with accountancy, because my undergraduate experience was more so social sciences and really things that had not much to do with accountancy. I didn't have much experience with the field, so I thought that this would be a great opportunity to gain that experience and hopefully break into the field once I have some more knowledge under my belt and ability to do the things that will be asked of me. So the main reason why I chose the iMSA program over some other Masters of Accountancy programs was the uh, affordability was a big one. It is not it it's obviously not going to be the most cheap thing in the world. You're working for a master's degree, but it is a very affordable program compared to other programs in the state and across the country. So that was a um, huge thing for me, as well as the flexibility of the program. You are able to work on the program while also working a full-time job like I am to support yourself. And I think that is a very big factor that drew me in. and a big reason why I'm grateful for this program.
Excellent. Well, we're so glad that you're here, Kevin. We're going to ask Kevin questions as we move throughout the slides today. It looks like we are not super interested in the poll today, which is just fine. If you are just joining us, throw in the chat and let us know where you're joining from. We really our programs are global, so it's always really interesting to see who's joining from where, and see if it kind of reflects what our student population is, as far as being a global population as well. So here's our agenda. We've kind of covered a little bit of welcome and introductions. I'm going to briefly talk a little bit about the University of Illinois as well as the Gies College of Business, and then we're going to get more specific into just Gies Business Online, where all of our iMSA program lives. We'll talk specifics about the iMSA program, curriculum. We'll talk about the content, the types of students that are in the program, and then give you maybe just a few application tips and tricks. And then at the end, we obviously will have plenty of time for your questions. But I do encourage you, ask questions as we move along. We'll be checking the chat and the Q&A feature. And even if you have questions for Kevin, throw those in there. We'll go ahead and answer those as well. So the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign has approximately 35,000 undergraduate students. I think it actually went up this year by 2,000. I think it might be to 37,000 undergrad students. And then we have 20,000 graduate students at the University of Illinois. It is a land-grant institution, so we're committed to providing life-changing access to education at an affordable cost to learners all over the world. Couple just kind of quick facts about the University of Illinois. We have 29 Pulitzer Prize winners that have come out of the University of Illinois. It is ranked as the number 12 U.S. Or ranked public university according to U.S. News and World Report. It's a top 5 national science funded research institution, which is a pretty big deal. And then lastly, I hope that this is maybe one of the reasons you are looking at the University of Illinois is that we have over 500,000 alumni. So it's one of the largest alumni organizations that will be really supportive of you as a graduate from the University of Illinois. Taking that one step further, within the greater University of Illinois, there are 16 colleges, and one of those is the Gies College of Business. This is our business college, and that is where the iMSA as well as the iMBA and the iMSM, our online degree programs, are found within the graduate programs. We also do offer residential graduate programs as well. But just, just to give you kind of an idea of some accolades that the Gies College of Business has earned over the last few years, it has been ranked as the #1 biggest business school innovation of the decade, according to Poets and Quants. We're really proud of that. As far as the accounting faculty goes, we have earned the #1 accounting faculty ranking according to BYU accounting faculty research ranking. So if you're interested, obviously, and hopefully you are, if you're here today in the iMSA program, our faculty is just top notch, and that award obviously is confirming that. We have over 81,000 specific Gies business alums. So we talked about the 500K that are part of the University of Illinois. Break that down into just the Gies College of Business, where you have a little bit of a closer network. And that's over 80,000 Gies business alumni that you will have as, included in your network when you're done. The MBA program was noted as the MBA program of the year in 2022. And so that was out of online and residential programs. So that was a pretty big honor. And then lastly, it's a top 10 public undergraduate business school in the nation. So just a few kind of facts about the Gies College of Business. Now, within the Gies College, we have our graduate programs. And as I mentioned, we have residential graduate programs and we have online graduate programs. So the iMSA, which you're here to learn about today, is obviously in the online space. And in that space, there are a few key elements that really make up Geese business and what we're about here. And one of those, just to start, is flexibility and being a flexible program. And Kevin mentioned that earlier is one of the reasons that he actually chose our program. And by flexible, we mean that our program is 100% online as far as your access goes to your coursework, your live sessions, your group projects. Um, you are not required to attend campus whatsoever. Now, do we host opportunities to get to know each other and network and things for you to get involved with if you so choose? Yes, we host a lot of networking opportunities, but it is not required in order to earn your degree. So you are, really free to access, as long as you have your computer or your phone, you're free to access our content from wherever you live in the world on vacation, which is really nice. We're also very flexible as far as your degree planning goes. So you're really in charge of your degree plan. You're going to take one or two courses each 8-week term. Um, you're in charge of the order that you take your courses. You're in charge of the elective choices that you make, which is a key differentiator. You will have those, some elective choices to really kind of cater your degree to your background and your interests. And then lastly, we're very flexible as far as our tuition billing. And so you're only going to pay for each course that you're registered for. There's no lump sum payment. You'll have the bursar office, the university bursar office that has a lot of options to complete your payment. They're very helpful. And so there's a little flexibility there as far as how you're going to pay for your degree, which is nice. Second, we offer a lot of stackability with our credentials. So we have many courses and bite-sized options to stack into an additional credential if you're not quite ready for the full iMSA. So we're just briefly going to touch on this today, since hopefully you're all here and interested in this degree. If you're not quite sure, we do have a lot of options that you can stack into the degree. So you can start a little bit smaller and just know that you're still working towards a full master's degree and you're just not quite ready for that full degree. And we'll talk about those options here in the next slide. Lastly, online by design. So we have focused in on this kind of um, online delivery space all the way back in 2016 when we launched the IMBA program. And we were very successful. We put a lot of thought and effort into innovating in this space. And the way that we did that, we partnered with Coursera, and we'll talk about how we do that here in a moment. But we partnered with Coursera in some of our foundational material in our courses, but also just know that we did not sacrifice any type of interaction or collaboration or how you're working through these projects and these problems in your classes just because we're online, right? You're still going to have so many ways that you get to collaborate with your fellow students. Kevin, I see you nodding your head. Do you have an example of just that?
Absolutely. I mean, I've worked on about three group projects in just this semester alone, so there is a lot of hands-on opportunities to work with other people, collaborate with other people, and really get to learn how to facilitate those group projects. And you you do get these opportunities to take initiative and try to almost simulate what it's like to work on these kinds of projects in a job environment. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think speaking a little bit to the global nature of our programs and those, having people from all over the world as well as domestically in your group projects that you get to really utilize different backgrounds and different education in solving these case studies and these business projects. So yes, there's no shortness of interacting with your fellow students within the IMSA program. So we talked a little bit about stackability. This slide is just a good representation of all of the different options or access points that you have that you can start in to begin your learner journey with Geese. as I said, that if you look at this slide, the farthest to the right cube is our full master's degrees. So the iMSA program, the iMBA, and the iMSM. If that's not really where if you're not quite ready for that, you can start with just taking a Coursera MOOC, which is the smallest cube on the left. You could take just one 4 credit hour course, stack that into maybe a graduate certificate possibly, and we'll talk about that here in the next slide, but those are made up of 12 credit hours. Those are stackable. You could do a graduate certificate, have a credential that's, immediate, and you can take that right back to your employer and show, progress towards your professional goals. And also just know that you now have 12 credit hours that you could stack into the iMSA at a later time, if admitted into the iMSA program, and be 12 credits already done. So that's just an example of just the stackable options that you have within Gies. We have a full team of admission counselors, and I highly recommend, if you're not quite sure where you want to start, just reach out to us. We're happy to have a conversation. We love to talk about your goals and figure out what is the best access point for you. And that's, as I said, we have a full team. That's their job. And they're always excited to meet with you and discuss that, just so we can make sure we find the right fit for you. Okay, quick question while we are getting ready to dive into the iMSA program. What's been holding you back? So here's another poll. Why haven't you applied to some type of credential or to the iMSA program for, what is it, the cost? Are you a little nervous about this online kind of delivery method? Are we nervous that this is going to take way too much time, which I'm sure we'll hear from Kevin. He'll be able to alleviate that concern. Return on investment. We've got some great statistics on that I'll share with you, just to give you confidence in the degree after and what you're going to be able to do with that degree. But let us know what you're thinking. Okay, good. ROI. So I know we're going to talk about ROI, which is great. And we'll have Kevin share also, like, kind of the immediate impact that the degree has, even just in your current role. But okay, it looks like most are interested in a return on investment. So we'll keep that in mind as we move forward. I did want to touch briefly on graduate certificates. I know I mentioned that earlier. If you're not quite ready for that full degree, this is a great option. These are made up of iMSA courses, right? We have they're 12 credit hours. You will earn a certificate or a transcript after, and a transcript. It's a very brief application process, but just a great option that's ultimately stackable into a full degree. We have currently 13. So we have general business graduate certificates, and then we also have accounting specific. So 4 accounting specific graduate certificates that are really great, that you can, maybe start with an accounting foundations and maybe give yourself an idea that you really like how we do things, you like how we deliver information, you like the group projects, and then you can stack those 12 credit hours into the 32 hours that are required for the iMSA and already be partly done with your degree. So great option. Okay, the iMSA, which is the star of our hour today. So this is an online Master of Science in Accountancy. This program is going to build expertise in the fundamentals of accounting, financial reporting, audit and control, and then also U.S. federal taxation. Kevin, I guess before I get into this, what types of students are in your classes? Like, what are their backgrounds like? Are they all do they all have a ton of accounting experience? Are they like yourself, that you're kind of developing a foundation in that space? What's your experience with the students in your classes?
It's a very mixed bag of people. So you have people who have been working in the field for 10 years, 15 years. You have people like me who have not started working in the field and are just building the foundational experience for accountancy. And you have people in between who have some experience, but would obviously like to gain more credentials, maybe work towards a CPA, and everyone's following their own path here, and that's been the experience that I've seen so far in my groups and in my classes.
Perfect. Yeah, I think you kind of hit all the different groups. We have experienced mid-level professionals that are looking to move into that C-suite. We've got learners that are just starting a new career and they're, pivoting to enter the accounting field. Regardless, you're going to be really well positioned to advance your career after you earn this degree, and definitely increase your earning potential with the IMSA. But this degree comes in at just the average is around 24K. So your final tuition is really going to depend a little bit on your elective choices. So we charge $850 per credit hour for accounting courses, and non-accounting courses are $347 per credit hour. You are required to take at least one non-accounting elective. And so that's where you're going to have a range. If you take 3 non-accounting electives, then obviously your tuition is going to be a little bit on the lower side, compared to the lower part of the range, compared if you took 2 accounting courses as your electives and just 1 non-accounting. So it will be a total of 32 credit hours and take you anywhere from 18 to 60 months. So the graduate college does have that maximum 60-month timeline. We know you're going to finish well before that, but just know that again, this speaks a little bit to our flexibility that, if you decide that you need to pause possibly and take a term off, that's okay. We understand that you are all very busy working professionals, and we're trying to fit this degree in with, families, extracurricular activities, all kinds of things. And so it's hard. And if you need to take that term off, that's just fine. But typically the fastest that you would complete the program would be 18 months. We have 3 start dates. You could start in January or August or May. Now, just know if you do start in that May term in the summer, your start will just look a little bit differently because that's an 8-week term, and you'll probably start with like a non-accounting course, just to kick it off, and then get into that August timeline where you can start some of your accounting courses. As far as the class profile goes, the average age is 36 years old, with 10 years of work experience, just to give you a little bit of information on the background of the students that will be making up your group work and your live sessions. 12% international learners with 36 countries represented. And then just know we have 95 Fortune 500 companies represented as well, as far as the industry backgrounds that you'll have in the student makeup. Okay, so speaking to a little bit of the return on investment, kind of interest that we had in our poll, earning a degree in accountancy with Gies is going to just put you in a great spot to impact not only your career but your life. We do survey our graduates and ask them some important questions about satisfaction and return on investment, which is a huge factor when you think about, why are you choosing the IMSA over another college's degree, accounting degree. And so when we surveyed these students, 76% received a promotion, job offer, or accepted a new position during the IMSA program. And on average, they experienced a 22% pay increase during their time in the program. So just those 2 stats alone, I hope gives you confidence in the impact that you will experience as a student in the IMSA program. And overall, obviously, we had 96% overall satisfaction with the program. Now, I think your impact starts immediate, with your day-to-day, like your live sessions and your group projects, and how you use that in your career. So we hear a lot of stories, you go to class on Monday and you learn a specific skill that you can actually implement next week in a big meeting that you have. Kevin, do you have any examples as far as the return on investment that you've seen so far, whether it's big or small?
Yeah, so for me, as a person who hasn't entered the field, a big, well, I'd say a small return on investment so far has been, uh, it's been getting me thinking about what I would like to do with myself after, or even in maybe a year. what kind of job I'd like to take up with these new experiences. That's been a big thing for me. It's been opening up my eyes to these new opportunities uh, that I'm going to be able to take advantage of, and new options that I haven't really seen before taking these classes. Like I hadn't considered potentially becoming a tax professional, and that's something that I'm really interested in now. 3 months ago, I wouldn't have thought of that, but now it's after taking a few courses on taxation, I'm like, wow, this is something I'm really interested in, and I would like to maybe spend the next chunk of my life working on. So that's a big thing for me.
Mhm.
Um, Also thinking about it, how I could apply the skills that I've learned in my current position. I feel like I've gotten better at working with people just from these group projects, from these Zoom experiences, because a lot of what I do as a tutor is online, and I feel like I've gained a better understanding of how to uh, work in these online situations, work with other people from these classes, and I feel like those are just important skills to have.
Totally. Whether it's accounting or not, that's just a great, yes, a great skill to learn from the program. Um, So yeah, so just know that you are going to see impact. Whether, a lot of this obviously depends on your background and where you're going, but I hope that these statistics give you confidence if you were at all kind of nervous about what the potential return on investment is for you. So let's dive into the curriculum a little bit. And within the core curriculum, you'll take 5 courses, and you can find those on the screen right now. In addition to those 5 courses, you do have 12 credit hours. Essentially, those are probably going to be 4 credit hour courses of elective choices. So you can focus in on US federal tax, data analytics, financial reporting, or you can just take any 3 electives that interest you. And then remember that you do need to take at least 4 credit hours have to be non-accounting from a non-accounting elective. Actually, let me just back up one more point. In your I saw a question in the chat. There is no work experience requirement to apply to the iMSA program. We do require 2 prerequisite courses, one in accounting, a financial accounting, either a 1 or 2 course sequence, and we also require a business management course. Now, if you don't have those from your undergrad, that's okay. We do have some Coursera courses that you can take to satisfy that requirement, but you do need to take those before you apply. If you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to us. We can link you to those specific courses that would satisfy that requirement. One note about the I, so we do refer to the program as the iMSA. That refers to the method of delivery only. So, back when we launched the iMBA program in 2016, we actually had a residential program, and that was our first kind of that's where we entered into this online space. So we had to designate that was a different program back then. We had the MBA and the iMBA. The I stuck, and we really just kept that to refer to the method of delivery only. It won't be noted on your transcripts. It won't say online on any of your diploma or your certificate. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the faculty and the amazing faculty that we obviously have. We have more than 215 full-time faculty members across accountancy, business administration, and finance at the college. So more than half of our Gies faculty, they're actively engaged in research. So that's really great. Specifically in our accountancy faculty, they are again ranked #1 in research productivity in the BYU accounting research rankings. They were also ranked just as the #1 accounting faculty nationally. 44 of them, of our accounting faculty, they actually hold editorial positions at accounting journals, and 92% have published in the top 6 accounting journals. So The people that you are learning from are well versed in accounting. Within online programs, we have over 70 faculty members who teach only in online. And they have really vast industry experience as well as research experience too. We have 250 TAs that support the faculty members in their live sessions and in their courses. On the Gies side, we have, over 55 Gies staff members in teaching and learning that they really work hard to provide the content and how we deliver this information. So we complete over 40 live sessions every week, and that's done in, our 6 state-of-the-art studios that we have here on campus, as well as our brand new building, which is supposed to open up here next year, this Stephen Weimer Hall, and that's going to have 7 additional state-of-the-art studios there that we'll be able to broadcast from. So we have a great technical team. We have the space, and so it's going to be a very high quality experience as far as your weekly live session goes. Oftentimes, we have questions about what that live experience is like, and we're going to dive into like what makes up a course here in just a moment. But can you explain what a live session's like? This is a requirement, so each week you'll have a 90-minute live session in over the 8-week term. So you have 8 live sessions in one 8-week term. Kevin, what's a live session like for our audience?
For sure. So aside from going over some of the material that you may have covered in the Coursera portion of the course and maybe some textbooks that are required to read, the live sessions cover a lot of unique examples relating to the concepts that you are learning in these Coursera courses, such as like for my taxation course, very specific examples relating to certain tax rules that may not have been covered. There are also a lot of breakout rooms working with your peers on questions relating to the topics that are being covered. The professors are there to answer any questions that you have related to things that you may not be familiar with, may not 100% understand, and they are more than happy to help you out in any way that you can. They have been very, very great from my experience. They want to help you, and it's very clear that they do. So I very much appreciate that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's definitely not a just phone in, turn your camera off and listen type of experience. We are looking for students who are going to be interactive and collaborating. I want to give you just a brief overview of what that looks like. And this is Professor Hayden Noel. He's actually in our he teaches in the MBA and the MSM program. But this quick video is really just a good, kind of description of what a live session is like. So watch this.
Hello and welcome from wherever in the world you are. One thing you'll know by now is realize you are not going to be able to just sit back. Got excited.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Absolutely.
I do not believe in exams. It will be a collaborative event, something you do over time with others. And that's what we do in this class. I want you to put up your hands and tell me 2 associations from the case.
Tradition comes to mind.
Associated with a working man.
Also inexpensive and very accessible.
End my classes by saying, all of you, go out in the world and be successful.
So that's Professor Hayden Noel. He is one of our top faculty members. very popular with our students, as you can see. He's really fun. But you can see, just get a little taste of how it is engaging. Your professors are calling on you. You're having these conversations in this live session. There's breakout sessions where you're discussing something and taking that back to the rest of the class. So so very interactive. What else, how else is our coursework made up? And we put a lot of thought and effort into how we were going to design these courses, right? And the reason for that was we didn't want to sacrifice all of that live session engagement and collaboration. So we decided to make it up. It's made up of two different components. We have an asynchronous component that is housed on the Coursera platform. So every 4 credit hour course has 2 MOOCs, or massive online open courses, found on the Coursera platform. These are non-credit bearing classes. You are going to earn a digital certificate also from completing these MOOCs. They're made up of pre-recorded videos from our professors. There's going to be self-assessed quizzes, some reading assignments, and then some peer evaluation. Think of this as kind of like your virtual textbook in your course. So it's going to provide that foundational material that you need in order to be successful. The other part is the synchronous component. So that is going to be on the Canvas platform. This builds on those MOOCs that you've already that you're working on as well as you move throughout that 8-week term. You're going to have that 90-minute live session. You're going to have team and group projects. You're going to have a lot of peer-driven discussions. And then there's faculty office hours. And so our faculty members, they like to provide faculty office hours. They love to get to know their students. They want to have that space so that they can answer your questions, so that they can have conversations with their students. Kevin, do you go to faculty office hours ever?
I've occasionally gone to faculty office hours. They're open to everybody, and how it works, it's almost like a class session where you could just hop in and join whoever's there and what they're working on.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes you might have one person there, sometimes you might have 20. And it's, the professors offer these at least once a week. Sometimes they offer them more, but it's just a nice resource to be able to get to know your faculty member, have that space where you can dive a little bit deeper into something maybe that you don't understand, or just have some conversations with others in your classes. So. Okay, let's talk a little bit about networking. And, I think a common question that we get is that how are you networking in a virtual environment? Am I going to be able to meet like minds and other industry professionals? And the answer is yes. So, and the reason that we know that is that we have put a lot of, thought and effort into this space to provide you those opportunities. Now, are you required to do any of these? The answer is no. Will it enhance your experience in the program? Yes. And so as a college, we host iConnects, we host immersions, and we also have iConverge. On the other, and we're going to dive into those here just in a moment, a little bit more specifically, but and then there's also student-led opportunities. Our students love to get together. You're going to meet them in your group projects. You are going to meet students in student-led meetups. So our students like to host their own gatherings close to home. So they'll put something out there on Workplace, which is a social media group that you'll have access to. It's part of our program. And students gather on there and create their own homegrown networks. This happens domestically as well as internationally. And then we also have a lot of opportunities for you to get involved, like the ambassador program. Kevin's part of that, where you can you can meet with prospective learners one-on-one, share your experience. You can act as a panelist in a webinar. You can share some your student stories, so we can put that out there. And then the IGBA is the Illinois Graduate Business Association. That is a student-led group, kind of like a student council for our students. That's a great way to get involved as well. Before I jump in, Kevin, what's been your favorite way to network in the program?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me has been meeting new people in my classes and The people who I've worked on group projects with have been really great. They have all been very accepting and a pleasure to work with. Uh, Over this past semester, I've had to take several two-part courses that have a part A and B. Uh, Part A for the first term, part B for the second term, and I've had the some great luck in having to being able to retain those group mates from the first part of the semester, and that has just been really awesome. They're a great group of people, and like we mentioned earlier, they have a diverse skill set, a diverse amount of experience, and that's been really interesting seeing how different people work on the same kind of projects because they bring in ideas that I would have never thought of from their day-to-day experiences. So that is something that I've been looking forward to for sure.
That's a great point. So even if you don't take advantage of any of these other opportunities that I'm sharing, you are going to have just an opportunity to network just in your regular coursework, right? So the experience Kevin's speaking to, like he's just meeting these people within his group projects and his live sessions. So even just alone in that, you are going to be able to network in your own way. So, but a couple other opportunities, we do host immersions. These are virtual or in-person opportunities that you can kind of you apply and there is an extra cost, but you take part in a business project essentially. I actually went to South Africa this summer on an immersion trip with 39 MBA students and one MSM. iMSA students are also welcome to join on these, but they're really great. You get to know these students so well. There's cultural immersions. You're meeting with various stakeholders in the community. We meet with different businesses to learn how they do business there. So just a really amazing opportunity in the program. We host 4 of these each year. iConverge. So we host a fall kickoff event every September each year where we invite all of our online students to campus as well as alumni. Typically, we have around 400 or 500 students that come for 3 days of professional development and a lot of fun. We bring in various speakers. We had professional coaching this last fall in September at this last one. We always have a specific theme, leadership, and we've done entrepreneurship. It's always a really unique theme, but just a really cool experience to be able to come to campus and network with 500 of other students in the program. Workplace, we mentioned this. This is just a great place to share ideas, form study groups. You can share your resume. It's just a space that our students like to help each other. And, you can find a group for your industry. You can find a group for every course that we offer. It's just a place that brings our students together, and it's just a great place to be able to share ideas, create those student-led meetups that I was speaking about, where a student will post on Workplace and say, hey, I live in Philadelphia, and are there any students that live close to me that would like to get together? And you instantly can meet at a restaurant, and you have this group that is in person and close to where you live. So those happen, as you can see, domestically and internationally. Learner support. I wanted to touch on our advising team. We have a student and academic success team that is here for you. You are not expected to come up with your whole degree plan on your own. You can, and we do recommend trying to set that up yourself, but then take it to the advisors and let them help you tweak it. Maybe you're having trouble pairing 2 courses for one term. They're well versed in that space, and they're available to be able to meet with you. You can also just email them questions. So that's a great resource in the program. Career resources. So common question, like, do you have a career center? What kind of resources do you have to help me in my career? Now, within this, our unique program is for full-time working professionals. So we don't have to have kind of the traditional career recruitment fairs like that you would find in an undergraduate setting. Because really what happens in our program, the career help that you're going to experience is through your network, right? So you're going to be meeting like minds in the program. That really is where you're probably going to see the most benefit as far as your career support and career help really in getting to that next. Not only are you learning knowledge, obviously, in the degree program, but just the network that you'll have is going to be really beneficial. But we do have opportunities to get together and strategize in a career-specific group on that workplace platform that I was talking about. We have the Big Interview, which is a site that offers training courses, hands-on practice with mock interviews, things like that. Handshake is all students have access to Handshake at the University of Illinois. It's a campus recruiting platform. It's probably designed a little bit more for residential and on-campus students, but you will have access to that as well. And then VMOC is a resume and a career development tool that will help you improve your resume. So you have all of these resources at your fingertips. Okay, we are running, let's see, we're running pretty good on time. It's 11:45. I want to jump to our application tips and tricks and then share the next deadline with you. But while I'm here, is there a part of the application that's making you really nervous? Is there a part that's that we need to spend a little bit more time on? The resume, the personal statement. I am briefly going to talk on all of these things, but if there's something that you're a little bit more concerned with, let me know in the poll or put it in the chat and we'll make sure that we cover that specifically. Overall, the process to apply is pretty straightforward. It shouldn't take you a long time. So let's just, for the sake of time, we're going to jump right to the application requirements. We do require, as I said earlier, there's no minimum work experience requirement for the iMSA program, but we do require a simple resume. You know, we want your work experience, your education included in there, and then we do require a bachelor's degree. So we'll need unofficial transcripts for your application. That can just be a scanned copy, a picture, you know, a photograph of your transcripts, but we do need all degrees that you've earned as well as the diploma and certificate of degree, if it's not included and noted on your actual transcripts. For international applicants, we'll need English translations if it's not delivered, if your degree wasn't delivered in English. And oftentimes the mark sheets don't include that certificate of diploma. So make sure you have that included as well. There's an academic statement that's going to be, I think, 500 words or less. And we're going to just ask you how your academic and professional background and your professional training has prepared you for this graduate study. How is this program going to help you reach your professional goals? And why are you pursuing this degree? And then there's 2 required short personal statements. Those are just basically quick paragraphs. And then there's 2 optional short personal statements that you can note. There's one question, then you can also note anything that, you know, was kind of missed on your overall application. That's a good spot to write about that there. 2 recommendation forms are required. In order to submit your application, we just need the name and email of your recommenders. We actually will send them an email with a form to fill out, and they can also upload a letter at that time, but we'll give them instructions. You just need the name and email to submit, and then we actually will give them a few extra days to submit their part. So if you're up against a deadline, don't sweat it. You just need to enter the name and email, and then we'll work with you a little bit and give them a few extra days to submit their part. But just let them know it's a very short form, should not take them a long time to fill out. I know how hard it can be to sometimes ask somebody for a recommendation. This is not that type of situation. It shouldn't take them long. Give them your resume so they have a little background, but you know, we also do recommend that one of those is a current or previous supervisor or manager as well. That's really helpful as one of your recommenders. English proficiency, if you are an international candidate, reach out to us if you have questions, but we do require an English proficiency test. A TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo score would be required. There are exemptions. If you have questions in this space, please reach out to us. We're happy to help give you some guidance there. No GRE or GMAT. We do offer one scholarship in partnership with Coursera. If you're interested in that, you would have to wait to apply for fall 2025 because we only offer these scholarships twice a year. They're very competitive. If you're interested, you need April 3rd deadline to start in fall. So that would be the next scholarship coming up. And then the performance-based admission check. I did want to note this. This is a great opportunity for someone who maybe doesn't have the minimum 3.0 GPA that is required for this degree from your bachelor's degree. It's okay if you don't quite meet that. We look at our students or our applicants holistically. So we are also going to look at your professional work experience. We're going to look at your resume. We're going to look at your recommendation letters or the forms that they've filled out. We want to get a holistic picture of the student that potentially could be in our program. And so if your GPA is maybe, let's say it's a little bit lower than that 3.0, maybe you have a 2.5, but you have all this other experience, or maybe you're a student who's a little nervous about starting this degree, program, and you want to just kind of do a trial run, the performance-based admissions check would be for you. So you would go through the same application process. If admitted, you would be admitted as a non-degree student, and you'll take 2 iMSA courses, of which you have to earn a B or better, and we'll evaluate your grades once you're done with those 2 courses and automatically admit you into the degree program if you meet those requirements. So it's an amazing opportunity for some students that may not be automatically admitted into the degree program. Happy to talk about that offline too if you have more questions. Give us 2 to 3 weeks to review your application. And we turn those around pretty quickly. We will review your application, invite you to do potentially an virtual video interview, and then we'll reach out after that. Spring 2025 deadline. So if you're interested in applying, you need to apply by December 2nd to start in that January timeline. So at this point, all applications will receive full consideration, and you would be able to start in January specifically. So this actually, this slide is incorrect. So you would start in January, and then if you missed that deadline, you could start. You could apply for that May start that I mentioned, but just know you're probably going to start with a non-accounting elective if you start in May. Otherwise, you would want to wait and apply for August, which the first deadline to apply for August 2025 would be April 3rd. Okay, so I know I just threw a lot of information at you as I'm kind of wrapping up this last 2 slides. If you do have some questions, I probably can take 1, maybe 2 questions here when we're done. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, sharing the information today. We talked a little bit about, why Gies Business. We gave you some information on the flexibility, the stackability, and just the fact that we've created these, this degree to be online, but just know that you're still going to have so much interaction and collaboration with your fellow students. You're working through these case studies and projects, and, just know that we didn't sacrifice that in structuring this program and housing it in a virtual space. It's really affordable. We talked about the flexibility in how you kind of pace yourself throughout the degree plan, and that you're really in charge of your degree plan, right? We want you to have this knowledge, but it's your degree. So you do have a little bit of flexibility there as far as the coursework, how you access things like that. Hopefully we showed you all the ways that you'll be able to network in the program. And I know I shared a lot of the awards that we've won, just in, been recognized as far as our top accounting faculty, our accounting program. You are in the right place if you're looking for a great accounting degree. So, as we move into this last slide, let me know what you think. hopefully you had a great experience today and we answered most of your questions. If we didn't, if I see any red up here, please put those questions in the chat right now, because I don't want you to walk away with a red face. I want you to have all of the information that you need to make this important decision. And we get it. Like, this is a huge undertaking to take on a master's degree. And so we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel really happy with the degree that you will earn and the information and the knowledge that you're going to gain by taking on this big challenge. So, Kevin, you've been so patient, and you've shared so much great information, with our participants today. Any last minute advice for those that are just kind of exploring programs? Maybe think back to when you were exploring your degree and why you chose the Gies for your accounting degree.
Advice, I mean, really, what I've appreciated most about this program is that it seems like it's open to really everybody. People who have very little experience, people who have a lot of experience. Keeping that in mind is beneficial, I feel like, because everyone benefits. I've spoken about this a little bit before. We have people who have worked in the industry for 15 years. I am just starting out, and everyone seems to really be into it, and they're trying to make the most out of it. You're going to be surrounded by people who want to better themselves, and are welcoming of other people who want to do the same. And that is something that I've picked up from my time in the iMSA program.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Because this program, the population is full-time working professionals, people they choose to be here, right? They're very excited to learn. And that's the group that you'll be in classes with. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's one of my favorite things about the program. I think everybody's here for the right reasons, and they're trying to impact their careers and learn that knowledge in order to be able to do that. So thank you for mentioning that. Kevin, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
Really value your experience. And if you're here today and you want to talk to a current student like Kevin, feel free to reach out to us. We can connect you with any of our current students, even based on your background. We can pair you up specifically so that you can talk to someone to just hear about their experience in the program. So our information here is on this last screen. Again, there's that QR code if you're interested in connecting with our admission counselors. But thank you so much for being here, taking that step to do a little research and learn about our programs. My name is Kate Deering. Again, feel free to reach out to myself as well. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. But thanks for being here, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Have a good one.